Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the research station Horizon, watching the strange crystalline formations that had emerged from the surface of Europa. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she thought she'd seen everything the cosmos had to offer. She was wrong. The crystals had appeared 3 days ago, growing from the icy surface like geometric flowers reaching toward Jupiter's massive form. Their structure defied known physics, and their energy readings were off the charts. But most importantly, they were clearly artificial. Commander, Dr. Marcus Rhodes called from his workstation, his dark skin illuminated by holographic displays. "You need to see this." Sarah moved to his station, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The displays showed new data from their latest scan of the crystal structures. "What am I looking at, Marcus?" "Pattern recognition finally cracked it," he said, excitement evident in his voice. "These aren't just crystals. They're keys. And they're responding to human DNA." Sarah leaned closer, studying the complex molecular patterns. "Responding how?" "Watch." Marcus placed his hand on the scanner. The holographic display erupted with light, ancient symbols cascading through the air. "It's some kind of activation sequence. But here's the weird part, it's only responding to certain genetic markers. Markers that appear in less than 0.01% of the human population." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "And let me guess, I'm one of them?" Marcus nodded. "You and about 1,000 others on Earth. The computer's calling them legacy sequences. They're artificial, Commander. Someone engineered these markers into our DNA thousands of years ago." Before Sarah could respond, the station's proximity alerts blared. "Unknown object emerging from Europa's surface," the AI announced. "Mass and energy signatures exceed all known parameters." Through the viewport, they watched as the ice near the crystal formation began to crack. Something vast was rising from beneath Europa's frozen surface. The ice sheet buckled and shattered, revealing a structure that dwarfed their research station. It was a ship. Or perhaps a city. Its architecture was both organic and geometric, with sweeping lines that seemed to fold through dimensions their eyes couldn't quite process. Its surface rippled with the same crystalline patterns they'd been studying, but on a massive scale. "By all that's holy," Marcus whispered. "It's some kind of ancient installation." Sarah's comm unit chimed. "Commander," Lieutenant Patel's voice was tense, "we're receiving a transmission. It's coming from inside that thing." "Put it through," Sarah ordered, her heart pounding. The air filled with harmonics, then resolved into words. "Legacy carriers detected. Awakening protocols initiated. Welcome, children of the Stellar Guard." "Stellar Guard?" Marcus looked at Sarah. "What's that?" Before she could answer, new holograms materialized around them. They showed Earth, but not as they knew it. These images were ancient, showing a civilization far more advanced than anything in their history books. And among the images were humans, working alongside beings of pure energy, wielding technologies that looked like magic. "Your ancestors were more than you know," the voice continued. "They were guardians, protectors of 1,000 worlds. When the void streams came, threatening to devour all of reality, they sacrificed their civilization to seal the breach. But they left behind insurance, children seeded throughout time, carrying the legacy in their very cells, waiting for the day they would be needed again." Sarah watched as more images appeared, the void streams, tears in spacetime that consumed everything they touched, and the desperate last stand of the Stellar Guard. "Why now?" she asked. "Why are we being awakened?" "Because the seals are failing. The void streams stir in their prison. The universe requires its guardians once more." New alarms blared. "Commander." Lieutenant Patel's voice was urgent. "Multiple objects detected entering the solar system. They're massive." Through the viewport, space itself seemed to tear open. Dark shapes emerged, their surfaces rippling with the same hungry darkness shown in the historical images. The void streams had returned. "The choice is yours," the ancient voice said. "But know this, you carry within you the power to protect not just humanity, but all of existence. Will you accept your inheritance?" Sarah looked at Marcus, then at the approaching darkness that threatened everything they knew. She thought of Earth, of all the worlds that might exist beyond their knowledge, of the legacy sleeping in her genes. "Yes," she said firmly. "Show us what we need to do." The crystalline structure pulsed, and Sarah felt something awaken inside her. Power coursed through her veins, ancient knowledge flooding her consciousness. She wasn't just Commander Saracen anymore. She was a legacy carrier, a child of the Stellar Guard, and she had a universe to protect. "Warning," the station AI announced. "Unknown energy signature building within the structure. Quantum field fluctuations detected." Marcus's instruments were going crazy. "Commander, whatever's happening, it's rewriting local physics. The power readings are beyond anything we've ever." His voice trailed off as golden light began to emanate from Sarah's skin. She felt knowledge that wasn't her own surfacing, how to manipulate quantum fields, how to channel the very energy of stars through her body, how to seal breaches in reality itself. "First protocol initiated," the ancient voice announced. "Awakening the legacy. Prepare yourselves, children of the stars. The war for reality itself begins anew." As the void streams approached, Sarah felt no fear. She had inherited something greater than herself, a legacy of power and responsibility that spanned eons. And as the golden light spread from her to the other humans aboard the station who carried the legacy markers, she knew this was only the beginning. "Marcus," she said, watching as he too began to glow with inherited power, "send a message to Earth. Tell them the Guardians are awakening. And we're going to need every legacy carrier we can find." The ancient installation rumbled to life around them, systems dormant for millennia powering up to face the coming storm. Sarah Chen, newly awakened legacy carrier and heir to the Stellar Guard, stood ready to face whatever came next. The universe needed its guardians again, and humanity would answer the call. Through the viewport, Jupiter hung massive and silent, bearing witness to the awakening of a power that would change the course of human history forever. The war for reality was about to begin, and humanity's hidden inheritance would be the key to everything. Sarah ducked as another bolt of void energy sizzled past her head, leaving a trail of warped reality in its wake. The battle for Europa Station had been raging for 6 hours, and the void streams were relentless. "Status report," she called through the quantum link that now connected all awakened legacy carriers. "Eastern sector holding," Marcus responded, his thoughts tinged with exhaustion. In the 3 days since their awakening, they'd learned to channel their inherited powers, but the strain was immense. "But these things are learning, Sarah. They're adapting to our defenses." She knew he was right. The void streams weren't mindless forces of nature, they were intelligent, hungry, and determined to break through the ancient seals that had contained them for millennia. "Commander Chen," the station AI interrupted, "incoming transmission from Earth Command." Sarah maintained her energy shield while accepting the call. Admiral Zhang's holographic form appeared before her, his expression grave. "Commander, we've completed the global scan. We've located 843 individuals with active legacy markers. But there's a problem." "When isn't there?" Sarah deflected another void blast, watching as Marcus used his newly awakened powers to seal a reality breach that had nearly swallowed 2 junior scientists. "Someone else is finding them first," Zhang continued. "In the past 72 hours, 37 potential legacy carriers have vanished. No traces, no bodies, just gone." Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with Europa's frozen surface below. "The void streams?" "No." Zhang's image flickered as another energy surge rocked the station. "We managed to get security footage from one abduction. The perpetrators were human, Commander. Using technology we've never seen before." Before Sarah could respond, new alarms blared. Through the station's viewport, she watched as multiple ships emerged from fold space. Their design was unlike anything in Earth's fleet, sleek, predatory, and humming with power that set her inherited abilities buzzing. "Attention Europa Station," a new voice cut through their communications. "This is Director Kane of the Preservation Initiative. Stand down and prepare to surrender all legacy carriers." Marcus moved to Sarah's side, golden energy crackling around his hands. "Friends of yours?" "Commander," the AI warned, "the new vessels are charging weapons. Energy signatures match pre-collapse technology." Sarah's mind raced. Pre-collapse, these people had access to the same level of technology as the ancient Stellar Guard. But how? And why hide their existence until now? "I repeat," Kane's voice held an edge of impatience, "surrender your legacy carriers. The Preservation Initiative has spent centuries preparing for the Void Stream's return. We will not allow untrained inheritors to compromise everything we've worked for." "Centuries?" Marcus whispered. "They've known about this all along?" Sarah stepped forward, channeling power into her voice. "This is Commander Chen. We're a little busy defending reality itself right now. Maybe we could schedule this power struggle for after we prevent the universe from being devoured?" "You don't understand," Kane replied. "The legacy isn't just power, it's a responsibility that's been carefully managed for generations. My people are the true heirs of the Stellar Guard. We preserved their knowledge, their technology, their—" A massive void breach interrupted him, tearing through space, between the station and the preservation ships. Sarah watched in horror as reality itself began to unravel, the darkness hungrier than any they'd faced before. "Multiple Class 5 breaches detected," the AI announced. "Station structural integrity at 60% and falling." Sarah made a decision. "Director Kane, you want to prove you're the true heirs? Help us seal these breaches. Otherwise, there won't be a universe left to preserve." Sarah ducked as another bolt of void energy sizzled past her head, leaving a trail of warped reality in its wake. The battle for Europa Station had been raging for 6 hours, and the void streams were relentless. "Status report," she called through the quantum link that now connected all awakened legacy carriers. "Eastern Sector holding," Marcus responded, his thoughts tinged with exhaustion. In the 3 days since their awakening, they'd learned to channel their inherited powers, but the strain was immense. "But these things are learning, Sarah. They're adapting to our defenses." She knew he was right. The void streams weren't mindless forces of nature, they were intelligent, hungry, and determined to break through the ancient seals that had contained them for millennia. "Commander Chen," the station AI interrupted, "incoming transmission from Earth Command." Sarah maintained her energy shield while accepting the call. Admiral Zhang's holographic form appeared before her, his expression grave. "Commander, we've completed the global scan. We've located 843 individuals with active legacy markers. But there's a problem." "When isn't there?" Sarah deflected another void blast, watching as Marcus used his newly awakened powers to seal a reality breach that had nearly swallowed 2 junior scientists. "Someone else is finding them first," Zhang continued. "In the past 72 hours, 37 potential legacy carriers have vanished. No traces, no bodies, just gone." Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with Europa's frozen surface below. "The void streams?" "No." Zhang's image flickered as another energy surge rocked the station. "We managed to get security footage from one abduction. The perpetrators were human, Commander. Using technology we've never seen before." Before Sarah could respond, new alarms blared. Through the station's viewport, she watched as multiple ships emerged from fold space. Their design was unlike anything in Earth's fleet, sleek, predatory, and humming with power that set her inherited abilities buzzing. "Attention Europa Station," a new voice cut through their communications. "This is Director Kane of the Preservation Initiative. Stand down and prepare to surrender all legacy carriers." Marcus moved to Sarah's side, golden energy crackling around his hands. "Friends of yours?" "Commander," the AI warned, "the new vessels are charging weapons. Energy signatures match pre-collapse technology." Sarah's mind raced. Pre-collapse, these people had access to the same level of technology as the ancient Stellar Guard. But how? And why hide their existence until now? I repeat, Kane's voice held an edge of impatience, surrender your legacy carriers. The Preservation Initiative has spent centuries preparing for the Void Stream's return. We will not allow untrained inheritors to compromise everything we've worked for. Centuries? Marcus whispered. They've known about this all along? Sarah stepped forward, channeling power into her voice. This is Commander Chen. We're a little busy defending reality itself right now. Maybe we could schedule this power struggle for after we prevent the universe from being devoured? You don't understand, Kane replied. The legacy isn't just power, it's a responsibility that's been carefully managed for generations. My people are the true heirs of the Stellar Guard. We preserved their knowledge, their technology, their... A massive void breach interrupted him, tearing through space, between the station and the preservation ships. Sarah watched in horror as reality itself began to unravel, the darkness hungrier than any they'd faced before. Multiple Class 5 breaches detected, the AI announced. Station structural integrity at 60% and falling. Sarah made a decision. Director Kane, you want to prove you're the true heirs? Help us seal these breaches. Otherwise, there won't be a universe left to preserve. The Void Entity's defeat had come at a heavy cost. Europa Station hung in ruins, its remaining sections barely habitable. Sarah stood in what was left of the command center, watching as Preservation Initiative ships towed away the worst damaged segments. Our ancestors sealed away thousands of these things, Elena said, joining her at the viewport. The preservation carrier had fought brilliantly during the battle, saving countless lives. Each one as powerful as what we face today. Sarah turned to study her unlikely ally. And your people knew about this threat all along. Why keep it secret? Why not prepare all of humanity? Politics, Director Kane answered, striding into the command center. He looked exhausted, his silver hair disheveled from battle. When the original Stellar Guard realized they couldn't defeat the Void Streams conventionally, they split into factions. Most chose to sacrifice their civilization, using its power to create the Great Seals. But others chose to hide, Marcus finished, entering with a datapad displaying ancient records. To preserve knowledge and bloodlines, preparing for the day the seals would fail. We preserved more than that. Kane gestured, and holographic displays sprang to life around them. They showed vast underground cities, hidden training facilities, technological wonders that put even the preservation ships to shame. We kept the flame of the ancient world burning, protecting humanity from threats they never knew existed. While letting them stumble around in the dark, Sarah countered. Do you know how many times humanity nearly destroyed itself? How many wars could have been prevented with your knowledge? And how many wars would have been worse with access to Stellar Guard technology? Elena asked quietly. We've seen what humanity does with advanced weapons. The Preservation Initiative chose to wait, to watch, to prepare for the real war. Before Sarah could respond, the quantum link blazed with sudden panic. Through their shared connection, they felt dozens of legacy carriers crying out in terror, then, nothing. Just emptiness where their presence had been. Multiple legacy signatures terminated, the AI announced. Detecting massive void breaches on Earth's surface. Moscow, Beijing, New Delhi. Impossible, Kane whispered. The seals shouldn't be failing this quickly. Unless... His face paled. Unless someone's helping them fail. New holograms appeared, showing chaos on Earth. Void entities were emerging from reality tears across the planet, but something was wrong. The breaches weren't random, they were appearing precisely where they'd cause maximum damage. These patterns, Elena studied the data, they're too perfect. Someone's guiding the void streams, showing them exactly where to strike. Sarah felt sick as understanding dawned. There was a third faction, wasn't there? When the Stellar Guard split, not everyone chose to fight or hide. Some chose to join the enemy. Kane's silence was answer enough. Finally, he spoke. We called them the entropy cult. They believed the void streams weren't a threat, but an evolution. A cleansing force that would remake reality into something purer. And they'd been waiting all this time, Marcus said, just like the Preservation Initiative. But instead of preparing to fight, they'd been preparing to help the void streams return. Through the quantum link, Sarah felt more legacy carriers vanishing. Earth's defenses were failing. The preservation ships were already moving to respond, but they'd never reach the planet in time. We need to evacuate, Kane decided. Get every surviving carrier to our sanctuary worlds. Regroup, rebuild. No. Sarah's voice cut through his planning. Golden energy crackled around her as she accessed deeper levels of her inherited power. We're done hiding. Done letting humanity face threats they don't understand. If we're really the heirs of the Stellar Guard, then it's time we acted like it. She turned to face them, her eyes blazing with power. The entropy cult wants to help the void streams devour reality? Fine. Let's show them what the combined power of trained and awakened legacy carriers can really do. Elena stepped forward first, her own power rising to join Sarah's. The Preservation Initiative was created to save humanity's legacy. She gave Kane a meaningful look. Maybe it's time we did that in the open. One by one, other carriers joined them, their combined power making the quantum link sing with possibility. Even Kane, after a long moment, added his strength to the gathering storm. What's your plan, Commander? He asked formally. Sarah smiled, feeling the full weight of her inheritance. First, we save Earth. Then we find every surviving legacy carrier we can. And then? Her expression hardened. We remind the entropy cult why the ancient Stellar Guard was feared across realities. Through the viewport, Jupiter's massive form bore witness as humanity's divided legacy finally began to unite. The war for existence had entered a new phase, and this time, all of humanity would face it together. In the quantum link, Sarah felt something changing. The power of the legacy wasn't just uniting, it was evolving. Their combined strength was becoming something new, something that neither the Preservation Initiative nor the original Stellar Guard had ever achieved. Maybe that had been the point all along. Not just to inherit the past, but to transform it into something greater. All carriers, she broadcast through the link, feeling their unified response, prepare for immediate transit to Earth. It's time humanity's guardians came out of the shadows. The battle for reality itself was far from over. But as Sarah Chen led humanity's combined legacy carriers toward their battered homeworld, she knew one thing for certain, they would face it as one people, one power, one legacy. The true age of the Stellar Guard was about to begin. Earth burned. Sarah watched from her command position aboard the Preservation flagship as void breaches tore through major cities. The entropy cult had struck with devastating precision, targeting population centers and military installations simultaneously. Status report, she demanded through the quantum link. London's gone dark, Marcus responded, his consciousness stretched thin across multiple battle zones. Paris is holding, barely. The Mediterranean defense line is. He didn't need to finish. Through their shared connection, Sarah felt another cluster of legacy carriers vanish, their light snuffed out by the darkness between realities. Commander, Elena's thoughts cut through the chaos, we've identified the cult's pattern. They're not just targeting strategic locations, they're drawing something. A massive sigil across Earth's surface. The holographic display shifted, showing the pattern of void breaches from orbit. Elena was right. The destruction wasn't random, it was forming an ancient symbol, one that made Sarah's inherited memories recoil in horror. That's a reality anchor, Director Kane explained, his face ashen. They're trying to transform Earth into a permanent breach point. If they succeed, all of reality will unravel, starting with our solar system, Sarah finished. She accessed deeper levels of the legacy, drawing on knowledge that had slept in her genes for millennia. We need to disrupt that sigil before it's complete. Impossible, one of Kane's advisors argued. We'd need more power then. Sarah cut him off, her plan taking shape. We don't need more power. We need to use what we have differently. She opened her mind fully to the quantum link, sharing her inspiration with all surviving legacy carriers. Our ancestors tried to fight the void streams directly. That's why they failed. But we have something they didn't. Unity, Elena realized, catching Sarah's intent. They divided themselves into factions. But we can work as one, Sarah confirmed. Through the link, she felt understanding spread, followed by determination. Every carrier, regardless of faction or training, combining their power in ways the original Stellar Guard never attempted. Kane studied the tactical displays, hope warring with centuries of ingrained caution. Even if we could coordinate such an effort, we'd need a focus point. Something to channel and direct that much energy. Sarah smiled. We have one. The ancient installation on Europa. It's not just a base or a ship. It's a key, designed to unlock humanity's full potential. But our ancestors never used it because they couldn't stop fighting among themselves long enough to try. Through the quantum link, she felt the other carriers' response. Preservation veterans, newly awakened inheritors, even those who'd stayed neutral until now, all adding their strength to the growing tide. All carriers, she broadcast, her consciousness expanding to encompass their unified power, converge on my position. We make our stand here, above the cradle of humanity. They came. Through fold space and quantum tunnels, through burning skies and reality tiers, humanity's legacy carriers gathered. Sarah felt their power join with hers, an ocean of golden light against entropy's darkness. On Earth's surface, the entropy cult's sigil neared completion. Void entities poured through the breaches, their hunger threatening to devour everything. But this time, humanity stood united against the dark. Now, Sarah commanded. Power surged through the quantum link, through her, through the ancient installation that had waited millennia for this moment. Golden light erupted from every legacy carrier, forming a web of pure energy around the planet. The void streams struck against their barrier, reality warping under the strain. Sarah felt the pressure building, felt carriers falling as the power threatened to overwhelm them. But still they held. Something's happening, Elena reported through gritted teeth. The legacy, it's changing. She was right. Their combined power wasn't just holding back the darkness, it was transforming, becoming something new. Sarah felt it in her cells, in her very DNA. The legacy they'd inherited wasn't just ancient power, it was the potential for evolution. The Stellar Guard feared change, Kane realized, his voice filled with awe. That's why they could never truly win. But we embrace it, Sarah finished. Through the quantum link, she felt humanity's inherited power reaching its next stage. Everyone, push harder. Let it happen. Golden light became something more, something that defied description. Where their ancestors had tried to seal away the void streams, this new power began to transform them. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as entropy met evolution. The entropy cult's sigil shattered. Void entities screamed in frequencies that transcended normal space as they were caught in the transformation. And through it all, humanity's combined legacy blazed like a newborn star. When the light finally faded, Earth hung whole in space. The void breaches were gone, but not sealed, transformed into something else, something that radiated possibility instead of entropy. What did we do? Marcus asked, his voice filled with wonder. Sarah studied the readings, understanding flowing through her enhanced consciousness. What our ancestors couldn't. Instead of fighting the darkness, we changed it. Transformed it. The void streams aren't gone, they're evolving, just like we are. Through the quantum link, she felt the truth of it. Humanity's legacy had never been about preserving the past or fighting the future. It had been about reaching the next stage of existence, about transforming reality itself. The war wasn't over. The entropy cult still lurked in the shadows, and not all void streams would accept transformation. But humanity had found its true inheritance, not just power, but the ability to change the very nature of reality. Above their transformed world, humanity's unified legacy carriers prepared for what came next. They were no longer just heirs to the Stellar Guard. They were something new, something that even their ancestors hadn't dreamed possible. The Age of Transformation had begun. 3 months after the Great Transformation, Sarah stood in the newly constructed Legacy Council chamber, watching Earth's transformed void breaches shimmer with possibility. Where once entropy had threatened to devour reality, now doorways to new dimensions pulsed with creative energy. The latest evolution reports are in, Marcus announced, his consciousness seamlessly linked with the quantum network they'd created. Since their united stand against the void streams, the legacy had continued to change, enhancing their abilities in ways that even the Preservation Initiative hadn't predicted. "Show me," Sarah commanded. Holographic displays materialized, showing data from across the globe. Nearly 10,000 new legacy carriers had awakened in the past week alone, their dormant genes activated by the transformation wave. "It's not just humans anymore," Elena added, her form shifting slightly as she demonstrated their newest ability. Like many carriers, she'd learned to alter her physical structure, adapting to better channel their evolved power. "The legacy is spreading, changing everything it touches." She was right. Plants near transformed breach points were developing new properties, animals were showing signs of enhanced intelligence, and the very fabric of reality seemed more flexible. Director Kane's team found something in the ancient records, Marcus reported. Apparently, this was always possible. The original Stellar Guard, they weren't just fighting the void streams. They were afraid of this level of change. Sarah nodded, understanding flowing through her enhanced consciousness. They chose to seal away the darkness, because controlling it seemed safer than transformation. But in doing so, they locked humanity's potential away too. An alert pulsed through the quantum network. Elena's expression turned serious. "We've got movement from the remaining entropy cult cells. They're trying to tap into the transformed breaches." "Let them try," Sarah said calmly. Through their shared connection, she felt the other carrier's surprise at her response. They wanted evolution? Change? They're about to get it, just not the way they expected. On cue, reports began flooding in. Entropy cult members who attempted to access the transformed breach points weren't being destroyed, they were being changed. Their consciousness expanded, connected to the same network that united the legacy carriers. "They're joining us?" Marcus watched in amazement as former enemies found themselves transformed by the very force they'd tried to unleash. "Evolution doesn't take sides," Sarah explained, feeling the truth of it in her transformed DNA. "The legacy we inherited wasn't just about power or preservation. It was about potential, humanity's potential to become something greater." Through the quantum network, she felt it happening. The remaining void streams were being drawn to the transformed breach points, not to destroy but to evolve. Reality itself was changing, becoming something more complex, more interconnected. The Stellar Guard thought they were creating weapons, Elena realized, but they were really creating catalysts. Each of us carries the potential for universal transformation. Sarah moved to the chamber's center, where a fragment of the original Europa installation now pulsed with new energy. "Our ancestors built walls between realities. We're building bridges." As if in response, the transformed breach points flared with new activity. Through them, they could sense other dimensions, other forms of life, all being drawn into the great evolution. Humanity's legacy had become a beacon, calling to everything that was ready to change. "We're detecting new genetic markers activating worldwide," Marcus reported. "Not just in humans, in everything. Plants, animals, even basic elements are showing signs of enhanced potential." "The next stage of universal evolution," Sarah mused. "And humanity gets to help guide it." Through the quantum network, she addressed all legacy carriers, their numbers growing by the hour. "Our inheritance was never about fighting the darkness. It was about transforming it, about helping all of reality take its next step. We are no longer just the children of the Stellar Guard, we are the guides of universal evolution." The transformed breach points pulsed in harmony with her words, their light reaching across dimensions. Earth had become more than a cradle for humanity, it was now a nursery for reality's next phase. New contact, Elena announced suddenly. Something's coming through the largest breach point. Something vast. They watched as a being of pure light emerged, not a void stream, but something that had already undergone its own evolution. Its consciousness touched theirs through the quantum network, ancient and new all at once. Children of Earth, it communicated, you have achieved what we thought impossible. The barriers between evolution and entropy, creation and destruction, have been transformed. We would learn from you. Sarah felt the truth of humanity's new role settling into her transformed consciousness. They had inherited the power of the Stellar Guard, but they'd transformed it into something greater, the ability to guide reality itself into its next stage. We all have much to learn, she responded, both to the light being and to all those connected through the quantum network. The age of separation is over. The age of unified evolution has begun. Above them, the transformed breach points pulsed with possibility. Earth glowed like a beacon across dimensions, calling to all those ready to evolve. The legacy they'd inherited had been transformed, just as they had been transformed. The future was no longer about preservation or destruction. It was about evolution, about helping all of reality achieve its full potential. And humanity, the children of the Stellar Guard, would lead the way. The story of the legacy wasn't ending. In many ways, it was just beginning.